Good evening, everyone. Good evening again. I might lose my voice, but I'm so humbled and I'm so honored to see all of you here. I'm actually lost for words because of the way you have come up and the way you are. We called you to come to us, to come for this dinner, and you have come in great numbers. I can only say thank you so much. When this started, obviously you all have heard the story of what happened. And let me tell you something, in 2012, things were not like this. I wasn't like this. I was in a very bad place. When I was given that diagnosis, I cannot tell you as a mother how I felt. And I remember the day very well. It was 20th of April, 2012. And I remember the day very well because it was my birthday. And on that day, I was so happy. You could have found me in my kitchen, laughing, singing. You want me to sing too? I see some people here. Okay. Yeah, you would have found me in my kitchen. I was singing very loudly, and I was cooking dinner. And Ian came in and told me, "Mom, what's up with you? I could hear you singing from outside." And I said, "Don't you know it's my birthday today?" "But Mom, this is not your first birthday." "Well, Kevin is coming down, and he's coming with his girlfriend." "But Mom, this is not the first time Kevin has come down with Dion." "Well, it's my birthday, and we're going to be happy." "Mom, what are you cooking? The food smells so nice." "Are we having guests? This food is too much." And I said, "No." But anyway, I told him to go and change. But immediately he left, the phone rang. And I thought it was Kevin. I thought he was at the station. He wanted me to go and pick him up. "Hi, Kevin." "What? Who am I with?" "Your brother, of course." The phone went down. It went off. And I was left baffled. Before I could think twice, the phone rang again. I quickly picked up. "Kevin? Oh, Dion, what's the matter?" The phone went off again. Now, I'm worried. I started shaking, and I couldn't see the keypad. I couldn't locate the numbers. But the phone rang again. So I quickly grabbed it. And this time, it was Kevin. "Mom?" "Yes." "What?" "Doctor?" "Leukemia." Guys, the phone went down, slid down my hands. Leukemia. I've heard about leukemia. I knew leukemia was a type of a cancer, but I never thought I would experience anything like that. And I was paralyzed. I sat there like a zombie. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to feel. How do you feel? But who knows that the love of a mother is phenomenal? Lift up your hand. Because in that moment, in that paralysis, I had a thought. Who is with my son? And that thought galvanized me very quickly into action. And I called a friend. This friend, luckily enough, she doesn't live very far. She came running. So she quickly bundled us into the car, and we were very quickly on our way to Portsmouth. Within a very short time, we were in Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Portsmouth. The doctor came and said, "We are going to do more tests, and then we'll come to the diagnosis tomorrow." Friends, have you ever prayed? And I mean gut-wrenching prayers. That night, I'll never wish it on anyone. I prayed. I beseeched God, all gods in heaven, for diagnosis to be different. Unfortunately, it was not. And in the morning, the diagnosis was confirmed. He had acute myeloid leukemia. Now, for the next 2 years, the treatment started, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, the works. And I can tell you it was tough. But during that treatment, that's when the doctors called me. Your son has a very aggressive type of leukemia, and he requires stem cell donation, stem cell donor. At that point, I did not know what stem cell donation was. We used to call it bone marrow donation. But he said, unfortunately, there are very few black people in the stem cell register. And for that reason, there's a very few chance that your son will get a donor. I didn't know that. It was devastating. I didn't know what to do. One of the things that I suffered most at that point, how could I go and tell my son that it was over, that we couldn't get a donor? We did try our best, but unfortunately, it was a little too late. The community came out. As you heard Sophie say, within 2 hours, 500 people had registered. But he couldn't find a donor. And in 2014, we lost him. Now, it was tough. As anybody would know or have gone through something like this. I only know that at the time, the other diagnosis, I went into depression. And as a mental health practitioner, I knew the symptoms, but I was powerless to stop them. The only thing the GP could give me was antidepressants. And as a mental health practitioner, I thought, what good would the antidepressants do to me? What I needed, what I wanted my son back. I wanted him. I wanted things to get back to normal. I wanted him to get well. But it was what it was. Now, I'm telling you that to know that when we learned that stem cell donation goes only with ethnicity, and there are very few black people in the stem cell register, it was really devastating, and it is not something that everybody knows. And that's why we took this honor to really create that awareness so that we can get many numbers in the registry so that nobody goes what we went through. Now, one of the things that I know and I like telling people is that this is our issue. This is not a white man's issue. Because remember, black matches black, Asian to Asian, Caucasian to Caucasian. If you are black and you are unfortunate to get leukemia, you got less than 2% of getting a donor. But when you're Caucasian, you got 97% of getting a donor. So what is it that we need to do as a community? Yeah? Let us register. Because as I said, it is our issue. And I know we talk about so many issues, and we tell people that maybe sometimes we are discriminated upon or anything, but this one, no discrimination. This one is for us to be able to take and to tell our children that it is a noble thing to do something to save a life. We are even behind in donating for blood. Please, let us do it. I thought that leukemia happens to others. I always thought that, sometimes you see things on the news and you think it's happening to them. But until something happens to you, you really don't know when that thing can happen. And my work and what I do and I'm very passionate about is so that you don't lose a son like the one I did. let us tell our children as they are growing up, apart from chasing for money and for careers, there are some other noble things they can do. They can volunteer, and they can register to become stem cell donors or even blood donors. Now, going over that, every pain, wherever we go through pain, I always think that something comes out of it. Would you agree with me? So today, because we don't have time and we are rushing things, it's through my pain, I wrote a book. And you might ask, what is the book about? Or what did I write about? This book has been inspired by my son, Kevin, and by the pain and the struggles that I went through. Because I always tell people, during that time, my friends would see me and we would be laughing. But can I tell you that I was performing on the outside, and I was functioning, but deep inside I was gone. I felt empty. I felt lost. I didn't know what to do. I was at crossroads. I was at a dead rock. And at that point, I didn't know whether I was coming or going. Life lacked meaning to me. During the illness and after I lost him, life lacked meaning. I don't know whether you have ever found yourself in a place like that, where pain is just too much, and you ask God questions, big questions of life. What is life all about? What is the meaning of life? If all we do is we are born, we go through pain, and somebody dies. And remember, I was asking these questions because of my son. Why? And it is through that dead rock, it's through those crossroads, that I had to come up with a solution. I'm an ordinary mom who went through that challenge, and I had to look for a solution for me to be able to overcome that bit. Remember, I was going through depression, but I had to think, at this point, as a therapist, I never knew that I could be on the other side of the diagnosis chair. And this time, it's me here, and I had to come up, what do I do to get over this? And I had a bad moment. I asked myself, what would I tell my client? And then there was one skill that I teach my clients. I'm a dialectical behavior therapist as well as a mental health practitioner. And there's one skill that I do teach my clients. And I thought, this is one skill I need to use. And this skill is none other, a simple one that everybody knows, but we never use it powerfully. Acceptance. What is acceptance? I'm telling you about what I've read about the book. Acceptance is accepting the reality as it is in the present moment, without wanting to change anything. But I had to learn that the difficult way, because mine was, I wanted my son back. Things shouldn't be like this. But I had to accept everything in the present moment. Acceptance is akin to surrendering to what is. It is accepting you cannot control. It's accepting things that you cannot change. The Serenity Prayer captures it so well. God gives me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Who knows that we lack that wisdom? Up your hands. Only very few people? As human beings, will you agree with me that we like things turning out the way we want? That we want things to be, we want people to be the way we want them? Yes or no? So with acceptance, it's accepting the reality. It is going with the flow. Acceptance helps you to drop the suffering and the misery that we put upon pain. Remember, pain is part of life, yes or no? But when we deny, when we live in denial, when we want things to be different, when we want to ask questions, he shouldn't have done that, he shouldn't have done that, we are adding suffering and misery on top of the pain. But if you just accept things, you remove the suffering and the misery, and you're just left with the pain. Acceptance helps you to move on, make changes, and even bring transformation. So it is within that skill that I came up with a program. It is within that portal of acceptance that I came up with a program that uses the acronym of the word acceptance. And it is through that that I've written a book on how to use that program from A to E. It starts with accepting yourself, and the end E is about evolving. So you come from accepting yourself, and all those letters, do you want to put, and that's the program. So I tell you, accept yourself, becoming authentic. The C is for core values, where you find what are your standards and what are your core values, what do you stand for? Conduct is about character. Emotions is about managing your emotions. Perception is about changing your perceptions. I'm just doing quickly because I can go into deeper, but I don't want to because we don't have time. Then there is about thought and the power of thought. Action, nothing happens until you act, until you do what you're supposed to do. If I didn't act, I would still probably be depressed up to today. And because of acceptance, I know I moved on for myself and for my young son, Ian, because I had to. Because if I didn't, then I would have been probably something different. I would have been stuck in the same place. And then when you do all those, you become a new person. You develop compassion. And then you keep on evolving. That's the program that I've written in that book. And you're all welcome to buy it. And this book, 20% of it is going to be going to KKLT, because this is where the whole inspiration gave me. So I thank you so much for coming today. And so that's the book. It's a combination of my personal experience plus my professional experience as a mental health practitioner and a DBT therapist. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you my book. So, thank you so much for listening to me. And as I said, and as we said there before, my passion is for KKLT to do even more work. Remember, most people, or most black people, where are they? In Africa. So in Africa, we don't have stem cell registries. And it is sad because if we had anywhere in the world, if you get leukemia, remember, if you get leukemia and they are looking for a stem cell donor, they check on all the stem cell registries in the world to see whether they match for you. And the only place you can't find is in Africa. There's only one in South Africa, a small one in Nigeria, and I don't know which other country. We believe in East Africa, and our big vision, our big vision is, what if, and we can, if we all come together, we can have a registry in Africa, in East Africa. So join us today. What we did, who knows that no matter how much great vision you have, if you don't have any resources, it's all nothing but. So we need resources. And we are coming to you as the community, as our friends, as our partners, to partner with us so that we can be able to achieve our goals, so that we can be able to look after people. Look, like that family and others we didn't show you because there is no time. When the funding goes, then they are left hanging because we don't have the resources to continue supporting them. And if we get a continuous resources, like direct debit, where we know every month we have this kind of money, then we can be able to support those people with confidence, without fear that the funding is going to run away. So I'm asking you, as everybody has been asking you, just give us something every month that will give us and will continue to support the charity. So thank you so much, one, for coming, for listening to me, and for listening to all of us. And may God bless you so much.